Hello and thank you for joining the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the Hangout, police panel recovers 111 million bribe from INEC officials. APC members defect to PDP in Benue State. Suicide bombers confesses that they were paid 200 naira to carry out attacks. Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Shola Ojewusi and Yomi Olomofe will be hanging out with me. So let the hangout start now. Rivers State is one of the states where elections are like war in Nigeria. Every election period, scores of people are maimed, kidnapped, and murdered. It's like a ritual to unearth the impunity that reigned during election. The Inspector General of Police initiated a probe panel. On Tuesday, the panel made a startling revelation. It said money changed hands. It alleged that the state government bribed officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, with 360 million, and that it recovered 111.3 million naira from 23 INEC officials. But Rivers State government says the bribery allegation is stupid and laughable. It challenged the panel to provide proof indicting the state governor. Will there ever be an election in Rivers State? Let me start from you, Shola Ojewusi. This story, 111.3 million. From what you read, what do you make of it?
Well, I think we are still in that kind of vicious circle of money being thrown around whenever things like this come around. There were times when, you go to the National Assembly, you see people coming with series of Ghana must go bags and all those things, giving one allegations or the other. Something has been put on the table. The people making the allegation, do they have their facts behind what they are saying? The accused, do they also have something to defend this with? This is something that is open to the public. And as the day goes back, as the days go on, we'll be able to know who is really saying the truth and who is not saying the truth. There are some allegations that this is just a way to give a dog a bad name in order to hang it. But things have to be put in the public space and things proved beyond reasonable doubt for us to be able to move forward. But it comes down to the fact that what are people doing about elections in Nigeria? Why do you have to do everything at all costs just to be able to be in a particular position? Rivers State is becoming a very, very volatile example of what can be bad about elections and electioneering in Nigeria. And something has to be done for us to have some kind of sanity out of that place.
The police actually paraded the 111.1 million naira. 111 million naira yesterday. And I was asking, me and Jide, we were talking earlier, that is this money a kind of proof to substantiate what tells us that that money is from Governor Nyesom Wike? And how can you pinpoint it? Was it given in cash? And how were they able to get back the cash? Rivers State election was held December. This is February. Are you saying what was given, that was the exact amount that was given? So many questions begging for answer, because the Rivers State government people said, look, you need to prove it and take it directly to our doorstep.
I must say that the Rivers rerun election was extensively trashed here on Journalist Hangout. Some of the possibilities and probabilities were also anticipated and discussed. And some of them are playing out now. So for me, where to start really is about what we need to do for our people, about our people, such that so much is not expended in terms of life, in terms of money, in terms of precious properties and belongings over one or two characters. We identified Wike, we identified Amechi here on this program as two persons who we ought to think about how to neutralize in that electionary process. Unfortunately, that's not possible, because they remain leaders of their people. But having said that, election in Nigeria, unfortunately, is about money. Let's not deceive ourselves. The poor person, the indigent person cannot hope to run for election in Nigeria. And so, therefore, what we must begin to work on now is placing a lot more premium on our fundings, trying to track what we have and what they are being used for, such that some of the stockpiles that people set aside to be disbursed frivolously and dangerously during election period are monitored more closely, and then therefore there is a way to discourage politics of money during elections.
All right, Jide, it's another thing when you throw money at people during the election, as in you want to use it to canvass for vote. It's another thing when you penetrate into the electoral empire and you get them compromised, heavily compromised. You know, it's a dangerous sign. Before we were talking about giving money to people to buy votes. But when the umpires, those people that are meant to preside over election, when they are compromised, what does this say?
Well, it's not a new thing. INEC staff routinely get compromised in Nigerian elections. In 2013, in Anambra State, INEC staff were compromised to ensure that Chris Ngige did not win the election. INEC staff in the IT department were heavily bribed to scramble the voters register such that where the candidate, a particular candidate is strong, his supporters will not see their names.
That was
so some of the richest people in INEC are to be found in the IT department of INEC. So they've been bribing INEC all these years, and all parties are guilty. It's not Wike alone that knows how to bribe INEC. That is if indeed he was the one who brought all this money.
Because I wanted to ask, is it a matter of it's only PDP that bribed during that election?
No, every party you set aside. You see, that's Olomofe was saying that poor people don't even have the capacity to contest election in Nigeria. Yes, except somebody undertakes to finance the election on your behalf. You will not win if you are poor. There is a particular video trending of someone who tried to get back into the Rivers State House of Assembly, an APC candidate, who was asking the returning officer publicly to return the, I think, 14 million that I gave him. The video is there. The video is there. So it's not all parties do this. The only thing is, how do we get these politicians to stop compromising INEC?
Or how do we get INEC to stop being compromised?
They are civil servants. They will be compromised. It's about putting machinery in motion to ensure that they are not compromised. But it's extremely difficult. And in any case, if the ruling party wants to compromise INEC staff, who stops the ruling party? Because we all saw what happened during the last dispensation. It was a lot easier for the ruling party to do so many things, to rig elections, to even announce elections, announce the PDP as winner of elections that they had lost. It happened in Adamawa State in 2003. Federal parliamentary elections that they had lost. Suddenly we saw PDP being announced as winners of all 3 senatorial seats, including that of Jubril Aminu. And these people, in their hearts, they knew they had lost. So this is what we are saying. And do you think INEC staff will do that for free? No. It's always been part of electioneering here, especially from 1999. We've turned our election into a kind of bazaar. You come, it's for the highest bidder, you come, you spend money, and then the higher you spend, the greater your chances of winning. So the point now is, the Rivers people have said this is a foolish allegation. It is up to the police to prove to us that this is not a foolish allegation. How was the money paid? I know one thing, that nobody, even the greatest fool in the land, will not pay money through a bank, pay this kind of money through a banking instrument, because you know you'll be found out. The easiest way to pay this kind of money to people is to pay them cash, because they know EFCC will be on the trail of the money. So how we need more information. I will be happy to have those guys that were arrested. I will be happy to have them interviewed by pressmen to talk about their own side. I've seen people make confessional statements, and after a while, they come back to say, no, I did it under duress. How did Femi Fani-Kayode win that case? Because the sole witness that the EFCC was banking on came out to say, no, my earlier testimony was given under duress. I recount.
All right, let me quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout, reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. We'll be right back. Still talking about Rivers election saga, scandal, and the recovery of 111 million naira. Now, gentlemen, looking at this, if we are to investigate properly, the police seem not to be giving us the whole information. What? And it's our responsibility to be asking questions. Does that mean that it's only PDP that they apprehended with money? What did APC give to their
the question
give to these electoral officers?
Police, how neutral are they in this situation? There are a lot of figures being bandied around here. We have 360 million, allegedly, given as bribe, but we are having a figure of another 111.3 million has been recovered. The very first question, we are still not being clearly told how maybe a difference of about 247 million, what happened to that?
Where did they end up?
Where is the difference? Who has what? Why did they arrive at that 360 million? Because when you are making, if you come to equity, you must come with clean hands.
And if you are going to court, if you are charging them to court, you must substantiate this.
Police people, they deal with the spirit.
Are they saying the other people have spent the remainder of the money?
That's the issue.
You need to tell us.
And coming to even think of the idea of this money, because normally, how were they able to recover this? What are the facts of this case?
Did they keep it at home? Or it was withdrawn?
Those are issues. You know what?
Maybe from their account.
Okay.
There needs to be a very serious accountability here before anybody can convince. And also, I was talking about neutrality. It's looking as if there is a kind of side being taken, because it's like the allegation is against the PDP government. Is there no possibility that there are other things being committed by other sides? So the police, if they really want to prove that they are neutral, must be able to come. They need to give us more than what we are seeing. To me, this is pedestrian.
Yes,
and it's not the best thing we can get from them.
The two major parties took part in that election. That's the APC and PDP. And APC spent money, PDP spent money. So let's say the sitting governor is in PDP, and we know the natural thing. But then we want to go beyond that. What will make after 2015 election? I don't know how the police and I read the reports that some INEC of some national electoral officers in some states, a certain amount of money, yes, was found in the accounts coming from NNPC. I don't know how far with that particular case.
Ayo, you see, without wanting to appear like a one record, what we are going through in Nigeria didn't start now. And unless and until the Nigerian people begin to look leaders in the face and do something drastic, I don't see how. Look, before that election, we said money was going to come into play, not small money. Now, because, you know, police world over, globally, they will condone so much until one of their brass is affected. And that is when they rise from their relative slumber to want to be seen to be working. Now, because a senior police officer was, and a couple of other, and it's oddly, was unfortunately killed and that in the course of the rerun elections. We are seeing the police now giving us half-truths as they are wont to, mostly, usually. Otherwise, if you say you got 360 million, or you are talking about 360 million, and you're only accounting for 111,300,000, why will you not wait until you can account for the entire sum?
Which is the bigger part.
Before you come to town. Now, having come to town, they know Nigerians. We're in a hurry, we're like, we're like hounds who wants to lap up milk as fast as it comes, not caring where it comes from or how it comes. So because they know Nigerians want to lap up milk, they will give you figures, they will give you fantasies that will keep tongues wagging and all of that. So for me, I'm not seeing anything that Wike is going through now that Amechi too was not subjected to. Truth be said. And so therefore, my question to the Nigerians and to the government is, for how long will they subject hundreds of millions of Nigerians to all of this shoddy and embarrassing macabre dance?
Jide, talking about culpability, after that particular election, an audio recording came out purportedly to be, you know, the voice of Governor Yusuf Wike, and this governor has not conducted himself, at least to the best of my knowledge, let's say that audio or no,
he cannot,
in terms of public conduct and everything. Yeah. Now, talking about his own, because in that audio, if you remember, I was asking, where's my money? I've given him we gave him money, we gave him this, we gave him, and if you are to link this together, it's not, the police might not be 100% accurate in their analysis, but you know that Governor Wike is not pure.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Wike didn't bribe people. All I'm after is provide the proof, because you can come up with a million allegations about someone. If you cannot prove it, you are merely wasting your time.
Especially in courts.
Yes, you must be able to prove it.
Beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah, I'm not saying, it doesn't look to me like someone who cannot do things worse than that. You understand? I can't put it beyond him. Even when he speaks, sometimes I just fold my hands and say, the governor speaking in this manner. You know, I've seen him on TV, and sometimes my blood, yes, my blood boils. Why should a governor talk like this? I mean, so the truth is, I'm not saying that I didn't do this, but I don't have any proof. I like to talk about things that I can prove, that if you confront me, I will be able to defend. I'm not saying that he cannot do this. No.
You are not putting it beyond him.
And I'm not putting it beyond him. Knowing him. I'm not putting it beyond him. But you that you are alleging that he has done it, you must prove it. That is their business, not my business. You must prove it. And as a journalist, I'm trained to ask questions. And there are questions that we can ask about this. At the Rivers election, there's a video of an irresponsible police officer beating up INEC staff. That video is there. Has that police officer been punished? Because has he been punished? What has happened? We only heard that 6 Wike's aides have been fired. 6 policemen working with him fired. I want to.
And they are going to stand trial.
I want to see what will be done to that senior police officer who was flogging INEC staff because he probably wanted to compromise them on election day. You see, the thing is, the one that you are talking about, which Lomofe did not touch, after the 2015 election, we were told that INEC staff, that they found hefty money in their accounts. And I thought that police have had enough time between that time and now to be able to tell us that these are our findings. And then you rush to December election, just 3 months ago.
Fast forward.
You go there, you accelerated, you ramped up work on that and came up with a report.
Let me quickly take Gbenga. Gbenga is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for holding on, Gbenga.
Yes, I'm holding on.
Thank you for holding on. Go ahead now.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening, Gbenga.
Yes, please, we have to commend the police for doing this work. And I've not seen any one of you who have been able to at least give them a kind of a, at least like something. It's like we're saying they have not done anything. I think for a little, we know police are in Nigeria, but when they do something, let's sort of all commend them that they even went to this extent. And I must tell you, the investigation is not yet concluded. This is a report of a committee. Now, at this point now, some CID, even FCC, will not come into it because there are some officials of the INEC that were implicated here. They still have many questions to answer. And I believe that the investigation will be across board, not only one political party or somebody. And I thought there are still more people, so let's commend them for this. And
all right, thank you, Gbenga. Thank you for your contribution, Gbenga. Jide, I think it's still the same thing we are talking about. Yes, Jide said something and it's catchy there, that our responsibility is to ask questions. The police, they've just done their responsibility by carrying out investigation on alleged crime and everything.
People think the role of journalists is to come and praise. No. Because you see, sometimes when people call us here, they say, why are you not praising this person?
That's why they call us Fourth Estates.
A lot of doors open regarding this investigation. I wonder why they had to come out without...
Let me quickly allow Jide to land on something. Because he was talking about an investigation that started in 2015. We still don't know what happened. The outcome. And fast forward December last year till February, within 2 months.
We're getting...
And what we had was that it was even taxpayers' money from the NNPC that was used to bribe those NNPC.
Yes, they mentioned like 23 state commissioners.
I'm surprised that up till now, we have not seen that report. And then something that happened just in December.
Prosecuted.
Yeah. We don't even know how much each of those guys got. Now, something that happened in December, we are quick to come out with a report. Good, but you must do the job in an excellent manner, such that the culprit does not escape. You see, the point that Gbenga and some other people do not really get is, look, we want good governance. We want corrupt people dealt with in Nigeria. What I hate the most, and every time when I say that the EFCC is grossly incompetent at prosecuting, it is because of its record. Its record is very bad.
Because can the police sustain this allegation when they get to a court of law?
When it comes to big people,
the police intend to sustain this.
No, they said so. They said they have some of these guys confessing on tape. I was reading about Jauro of Nemasa. And he said, look, the statement credited to me the other day, I disown it. I mean, it's not so difficult to spoil what otherwise look like a good case. So we are saying, look, police, do your work. We want to see those INEC people jailed. After all, I talked about 2013, that they've been doing it for years. And up to now, I've not seen an INEC staff jailed for taking money from politicians. So if they do this work well, and in the end they got some of those guys, took them to court, and they are jailed, I'll be very happy. But for someone to think that I will start praising them at this stage, when I've not really seen results, then I can't do that.
You know, Jide mentioned the idea of the tape, the wicked tape. That one went as if somebody has already developed cold feet about that. So if you couldn't even come out with something concrete out of that, how are we sure that what you are bringing is not another opportunity for you to just play games with Nigerians? Still
ahead on Journalist Hangout, APC members defect to PDP in Benue State. Details after this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The All Progressives Congress is losing members in Benue State. Reports say about 2,000 of its ardent supporters and members have dumped it for the opposition People's Democratic Party. The defectors claim that the administration of Governor Samuel Othom has brought them bad luck and his leadership style is nothing but a disaster. what is really going on? Let me start from you, Jide. And we have a situation here that the All Progressive Congress, what do you think is responsible that people that was ordinarily should be aligning with the ruling party, and they will think of defecting to the opposition party?
We could, so many reasons could be responsible. As we speak in Benue State, the governor is not doing quite well. I have so many friends from Benue, and what they tell me about your term is really not encouraging. And the question I've been asking is, at the national level of APC, is it not possible to have a machinery whereby the national leadership reminds of the people elected on the platform of the party of their obligations? You made promises to the voters. Are you keeping those promises? Because it's not enough to just be the national chairman or national ESCO members. You must, your job is to also keep tabs on what the elected representatives of the party are doing in the various states. If some governors are running a state in a bad way and dividing supporters of the party, of course it will affect the whole group. So the national leadership should be able to monitor governors and then remind them of their obligations. In the case of Benue, for example, as we speak, pensioners have been owed 11 months. Yes, dating back from 2014. 11 months. Teachers are being owed 7 months. Teachers.
Just like his
other categories of workers are being owed 4 months. In fact, he paid when we had this Paris Club. Yes. I learned that he paid 2 months or so. So people are hungry. And when people are hungry, they will turn against the party that is ruling in the state. They will turn against that party. It happened to Suswam. They taught Suswam a lesson. And what the APC must not do is to imagine that it is so strong now because the Andy Obas of this world are defecting to it. It must not imagine that it's so strong that the PDP cannot capitalize on its infractions. Because we are approaching another election year. Realignments are happening already. So some of these defections are even happening to prepare ground for
2019, the bigger picture.
Yes, because even in Katsina, some people also defected.
The state of the president, when
yes,
the president
also defected last week to the PDP. So you ask yourself that what is really happening? Because it's supposed to be the other way around, you know. But we are beginning to see in December, in Vandekia, in Benue State, people defected from the APC to the PDP. So if it's happening, then the party must sit down and ask itself, what are we doing wrong? Why are these defections happening? What can we do to stop these defections happening? Are we really making the Nigerian people happy? If we are not doing enough, then we have to challenge ourselves and do better than we are doing. And I like the fact that the vice president pointed to that look, our people are hungry. They can't pay school fees. We feel your cries. But the vice president must lead from the front and begin to address the problems that are making people to defect from APC, that are making people to be to feel very bad and to think that they made a mistake in voting for the APC.
Otuma, Jide has just raised a poser, and I believe during the last administration, it was a normal thing to see the executive of the People's Democratic Party meeting maybe once in 3 months, quarterly and everything. The president, the Senate president, everybody, they will go to the Wadata Plaza, they will have a regular meeting. I don't think the leadership of APC, I don't think they've been able to come together and hold a regular meeting.
That's true, Ayo. We'll be deceiving ourselves if we say that APC, as we're looking at it as a party today, is
one
family. And because we're not quick to speak the truth to ourselves, to leaders, to government, these things continue like some form of magic. If you look at some of the statements credited to even governors in APC fold, look at the character in Benue State, who is the governor of that state, who, I don't know where he found the courage to say that he will continue to owe because of dwindling allocation in a state that, for crying out loud, can be self-sustaining.
The food basket.
Benue State is known for agriculture. For crying out loud, why would you take the psyche of your people away from what they're doing and begin to say allocation? So for me, really,
okay, let me quickly take Martins. Martins is calling us from Lagos. Thank you, Martins. Hello, Martins. Okay, Martins is out.
Right. So for me, really and truly, maybe the lack of cohesiveness in APC as a political group, as we speak presently, is rubbing off on the seeming carelessness of some of the state governors. Maybe also the biting hardship. Maybe these things are overlapping. The party is not cohesive, so his policies, the implementation of his policies may also not be cohesively carried out. And so there's a lot of hardship. So people will go to wherever they get the temporary carrot.
Shola, in what he has just said, and when you look at it, APC promised some things when they were campaigning, but to my consternation and some of their governors and even Mr. President, immediately after winning the election, disowned those things that APC as a party wrote in their manifesto.
Well, I think I fear the possibility of an implosion coming up in the APC if they are not careful. You know, when you come up as a party, riding the wave of this groundswell of public support, you have a lot at stake. You have to prove a point. But so far, it's unfortunate. But then, you know, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. The APC has to retrace the step. I pity Benue State. I don't know why the people of Benue are so unlucky. But like Jide said, there should be a kind of peer review mechanism. We have some states. I can proudly say, I published the Lagosian. We did a survey of what the governor has done, and nobody is complaining about what's going on in Lagos. Yeah, Lagos is rich. But if you don't
let me quickly take this call. Bashir is on live from Taraba State. Thank you for staying tuned, Bashir.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead with your contribution.
Good evening.
Good evening, Bashir.
How are you?
Very well.
Fine.
Please, about this APC defection. You said about 2,000 people from Benue State. What is the problem now?
Are you asking me, Bashir?
So you don't want them to defend, ba?
We are analyzing the problems, Bashir. I think Bashir is troubled by the story.
Surprised. Well, as I was saying, I think the APC, right from the chairmanship or whatever, should come and bring the governors, maybe under a room, and then get them to understand that you are derailing. The people are angry. Yes. Go to the streets, people are hungry. And hungry, thank you. They have to go back. Because they were, like you rightly said, a lot promised, but nothing is on the cards. We are really, really shocked that that kind of, force with which they came in, it should have been a better nation now. But people are not enjoying that kind of thing they expected. So the party should go. You know, it's not just Benue. We just discussed, was it a week or two ago, about what's happening in Kogi State. It's like everywhere. And if you are on a horse, you should be very careful because you can fall down. If you climb high, look down, so that you don't, make the mistake of misstepping and thinking maybe you are a kind of thing god. APC is not a party that is infallible. They have to look beyond. People are already talking about mega parties or whatever. If they think like the delusion of the PDP, 60 years delusion. If they are having that at the back of their mind. And another thing, like they say, in my Yoruba language, the banana that nurtured cocoa to maturity should not be looked down upon by cocoa. Those who worked their body, blood, everything in the party contributed to making the APC get to the level they are, becoming the national party. If there are things they've done wrong to them, because I believe there are people in that party that can turn the affairs of the party around. There are people who are eggheads, who know statecraft and can bring the country back to its footing.
Okay.
These people have to come together. It's either they do it or they are in trouble.
Okay, let me quickly go on this last break. We'll just take our last take on this and we'll move on. Stay with us. Welcome back. Still on the All Progressive Congress and the massive defection in Benue State. Jide, looking at the governors, what should they be doing? Especially APC governors, because we look at it that election is 2019, but somebody told me that the last quarter of this year, that's 2017, governance will effectively, campaign will start creeping in, whittle down, and the politicking will start, because 2018 presidential primaries would be maybe November, December 2018, and the election proper might be early 2019.
There are midterm elections coming on.
And governorship elections
yes.
Ekiti,
Anambra this November or October. So what should we be looking at?
I think that for the party, I'm worried that we are seeing defections this early. And if we are seeing defections this early, it means that
but the party will also say that they are making inroads into the southeast. That the major leaders in the southeast.
If you make inroads into the southeast and you have problems in Kano, how many votes will the southeast give you? The votes that the whole of the southwest will give you, Kano alone can give you.
And erase it.
Kano alone can give you. So the thing is, you cannot say you are making inroads and then refuse to address problems in some places. I know that in Kano, states like Bauchi, there are problems. There are problems within, serious problems within
Kanduje and
within the party in those states. I don't even want to talk about Kwankwaso or anybody. I know that in Bauchi, people are probably even directing what's going on in Bauchi. But if you go to Bauchi, you know that there's a big problem within the APC in Bauchi. Now, even in Adamawa, there's division. Remember when the the chief of staff to the governor was condemning the national leadership of the party. So there are problems. The division between that the governor is supporting Atiku rather than supporting Buhari. So what we have is an extension of the rivalry stemming from the presidential primaries of the party. Up till this day, it has still not been addressed. So we have crisis. The structures of the APC in Adamawa State is held by the secretary of the government of the federation, to the consternation of the governor and his own people. So there are crises in some states. And if we are facing defections far away from the election, that should be something like a foretaste of what will happen by the time the elections draw very near, except those problems are addressed quickly. And they should not look at, it's only in 2 local governments, Vandekia and I think Ucha, that we've had defections in Benue, or Charanchi in Katsina, that we've had defections from APC. They should look at the bigger picture. How do we stop possible implosion? How do we ensure that history does not repeat itself? Because look, the so-called new PDP, they are massing up. They are massing up. You see, when you see people like Dino Melaye and the rest of them, the way they talk about their own party, you know that their heart has left the party. That's the way it sounds. You can't wholeheartedly love your party and be talking the way Dino Melaye and some of them are talking. Some of the negative things about the government of the day often originate from so-called members of the APC.
They are like
so
gatekeepers for the ruling government.
Yes. So you will know that, look, there is fire on the mountain, and the party must address this.
Steve is calling us from Abuja. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for doing that.
All right.
Uncle Jide, God bless you. You've been making a lot of sense
Thank
to
you.
Nigerians for a very long time, right?
Thank you.
But the truth is, all these things you're saying is happening in Benue State. It's not something that Nigerians were not expecting to happen in a short while. Because the APC as a party, they are not doing what they came to power to do. Rather, they are getting themselves distracted by the opposition whom they have already defeated. Now, what is happening in Rivers State is a pure indication that this party is playing opposition fight in there. Because this thing happens within the politics of Nigeria, bribing every here and there. And they see that we Nigerians is not aware of this. At times, we are there when we see them bribing people in voting centers. Yes, you think we don't know that they can INEC officials? Yes, there's truth in what they are saying that we may have bribed someone, which all of them are also part of in the APC. All of them that have come to power, there is no one of them.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your contribution. You mean when you're looking at it, the PDP started falling. They didn't notice, as at the time people were defecting, a ruling party, a party in government, they didn't notice it. Yes, they didn't notice this, and they were saying we're the biggest party in Africa.
And they were there for 6
They
years.
will be there for the, and they were under that illusion.
Yes.
Even as at the time, 5 governors
Walked
walked
out on a sitting president.
They on the sitting president. They didn't see it as a big problem.
That's danger on the way.
Ayo, we must just pray that APC does not go that way. I know that APC, to my own mind, retains some of the best brains and the best hands we have in the political firmament of this
And
country
they have goodwill.
right
They still have
now.
goodwill.
And the goodwill is still there. So it's not too late to quickly get back to their kitchen drawing board. Pick those who ab initio worked for success.
Who governized this party to success?
They are still there.
As in,
But what you must understand, what you must understand is that, you see, politics, as they do it here in Nigeria especially, can be very slippery. And if you're not strategic and you're not hitting out at the appropriate time, you could be hitting out wrongly and it could have a bounce back effect. So for me, I think APC is still a party, and it is still peopled by the right caliber of materials. They just need to, get a few of their acts together, discard politics as was done that paved the way for them to come in, and then do politics properly, professionally, scientifically.
Shola?
Yeah, going back to the drawing board that we've been saying, and also they should not be under the illusion that all is well. Like they say, heal thyself first before you start thinking of, so the people that matter in this party should begin to think how they are going to restore that promise for the good of the people. They have to think that when they came in, it was, there was hope.
Yes.
That hope is gradually dwindling to a kind of despair in the minds of the people. And the party, first and foremost, is for the nation, is for the people. The individuals that are at war should begin to see themselves as leaders, statesmen. We should go back to the drawing board and see if there are things we've done somewhere wrong. Try and correct these things. It's always a roundtable thing. It is the future. But if the APC does not see sense, I'm sorry.
Let me quickly
the end is near.
Prince from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Prince.
Thank you. Good evening, Malcolm.
Good evening.
Dide, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prince.
Please, you know one thing everybody have to know. We don't have bigger party anymore. PDP was also saying this about 16 years ago. Where are they today? They are nowhere to be found. This decamping from one local government to another party, one party PC from one local government to another party in PDP. This is how the trend will start. Before you know it will be, everybody has to move along too. Call those people who call themselves decision makers in the party to act wisely, not when the man sits in Abuja and control the affairs of the state. Like you said earlier on, the secretary of the government of the day, controlling what happened in the state. What is the APC, sorry, but it's a bad grassroots when they started. But today, is it still like that? Please, they should go back and work this.
All right, thank you, Prince. Jide, we're looking at the possibility of PDP is looking at that third force, and you know definitely the third force will emerge from within the APC and the PDP. Those that are not happy within this party.
Yes, and of course, there are people who are not happy. One guy told me, he says, "See, what we did to Jonathan, we will not do it to Buhari. We have a strategy." I can tell you, within the APC, there are people whose one of their legs are already out.
Within
Yes,
the APC?
Yes, different people, one leg out already. So the thing is, in the party,
And we
they
have
should
a
look
fair idea of who these people.
in the various states.
Ah.
Let's even look at what is happening. Kaduna,
Shehu Sani
versus
El-Rufai.
Baba Ahmed, they don't want to see the governor. Of course, Baba Ahmed now has been made the chief of staff to the Senate president
Senator
now.
Saraki.
Those people, they are not on the same side with the
Nasser El-Rufai.
and they've not been able to reconcile them. In fact, every day it gets worse between them. So how long is it going to take to resolve the different conflicts in the states? In Benue, are we sure that Yotom, the governor, and the former governor,
Suswan.
not Suswan, Suswan is in PDP.
George
Akume.
Akume.
Are we sure that George Akume and Yotom are still on the same side? That's something to investigate. In Kano, what is happening between Kwankwaso and his political
protege.
acquisitive friend?
Okay.
Because he's been with him
They've been together for a long time. Very close.
Good friends everywhere. He's the only person who allowed his deputy to succeed him.
Yes, in Nigeria.
You know? And this is the deputy that in 1999,
Okay.
they came in together. He served for one term. After one term,
They went to Abuja
Shekarau
together.
defeated him. And then they went to Abuja together. He was Minister of Defense to Obasanjo. And this same
he
deputy
was
worked with him as
personal
one of
aide.
his senior special assistants. So they've been together. They should be able to resolve their difference, because right now their supporters are at loggerheads. And it's those supporters who make all the difference on election day.
Yes.
We go to other states too.
Even in the southwest,
Yeah,
we are
there was
having
crisis.
challenges.
There are challenges here and there. People may not. We know what's happening even in Ogun State.
In Ogun State,
The
in Ondo
bitterness,
State,
you know, that is happening. And in Ogun State, they need to handle the issue of which zone succeeds the governor. Is it the Yewas this time, or still the Egbas or the Egbados? Where, or the Jebus? Where will
Obasanjo and everybody, they've been talking about the Yewas. They've never had.
So it's about sitting down and strategizing and telling themselves that, look, this is a party that must not crumble in our hands. But I think that it is not too late.
Yomi, your last take on this?
My last take, APC retains a lot of beacon of hope because of the calibers and characters in it. So they just must get their acts together and they must bury their various minor hatches here and there in the better interest of Nigerians.
All right, thank you. I want to thank you, Shola Ojewusi. We have to go. Our time, I know it's a very interesting topic. We have to stay on. Leaving last topic for today. Thank you, Otumba Yomi. Thank you, Jide. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout at YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Osuba. See you next time.